Hello, I'm Brian Tracy and welcome to the Brian Tracy Show. Today we have as a remarkable guest Mr. Tom Stone, and he is a speaker and international lecturer. He is extremely knowledgeable about how the mind works. He has helped thousands of people completely unlock their potential by eliminating the blocks that hold people back from accomplishing extraordinary things. We're delighted to have you here, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what a difference it's making in the world.
Thank you, Brian. I've been pioneering a new field called human software engineering for about 20 years.
Right.
And this is not about the computer.
Right.
This is about debugging and upgrading our inner human software.
Yes.
And what I discovered is that the main bugs in our inner human software are emotional.
Yes.
There tends to be, a lot of emotionally disruptive energy behind people's thinking, causes them to be clouded thinking. They make poor decisions, and therefore they're not very successful. So I've been extremely fortunate to discover some new ways of being able to eliminate those problems.
Wow. Can you give us a simple example of something that a person could do right away to make a difference?
Yes, I have on my website a new app that allows people to interactively guide themselves through the resolution of anxiety, depression, nightmares, resentments, grief, heartbreak, a whole range of things.
Wow.
And it's utterly amazing. This is not something superficial. This is a major breakthrough in the ability to get rid of what we call disruptive emotions.
Wow. I had a great, profound change in my life when I was in my 20s, when I discovered that this ability that you are focusing on to help people get rid of what I call negative emotions is really the key to success in life. If you can't do that, nothing else is possible. And if you can do that, then everything becomes possible. So learning how to do that, and it's quite astonishing. One of the things that I learned in my early studies, and I spent thousands of hours on this, was that many people think that negative emotions and positive emotions are sort of like allocated. You have some of one, some of the other, and they're normal and natural, like breathing and in and breathing out and so on. So there's not really much you can do for them. You have negative emotions, you get angry and fearful and depressed and everything else. You have positive emotions, you're happy and so on. But then what I learned, which just blew me off my chair, was that all negative emotions are unnatural.
Exactly.
And you can actually rid yourself of negative emotions. Now, since nature abhors a vacuum, if you get rid of your negative emotions, then all that is left is positive emotions.
That's
and so what's
absolutely right.
your teaching?
I discovered exactly the same thing.
Yes.
And it was amazing how I discovered it. It's
Yes.
actually an interesting story. In 1993, I got shot in the chest by a deranged stranger with a .44 caliber handgun.
Yes.
And that's a big bullet. Hunters
Yes, it
use them
is.
for killing bears.
Yes.
It's a total miracle. It didn't kill me. It hit me right here. Well, I had physical recovery from a couple of surgeries and the bullet wound, but the biggest part of the recovery was from the post-traumatic stress that I had after the
Yes.
event. I had nightmares, flashbacks, all the typical post-traumatic stress symptoms. Now, I didn't buy the sort of dogma of the psychological community that you can't heal PTSD, that you can only learn how to cope with it or live with it.
Right.
So I didn't buy that, and I started to do my own specialized research.
Right.
And I discovered exactly this same point.
Yes.
When we're little, we all get emotionally overwhelmed many, many times. And everybody, to a person, rapidly learns to suppress their emotions. And they do it so well, and they get so deeply conditioned in doing that, that then it feels like it's natural, like it's just a part of you. But you're absolutely right. It's a learned behavior. It's
Yes.
not natural.
Yes.
And it's very possible to resolve them. And now with this wonderful interactive audio app that we have on the website and on the smartphones, you can actually guide yourself through the resolution of the energy of the emotion. It's the energy that gives life to the emotion.
Yes.
That's what you have to resolve, and that's what I discovered in curing myself from PTSD.
Yes. If you remove the energy, I say like pulling a plug out of the wall.
Exactly.
The light goes out instantly and 100%.
We're right on the same
Yeah.
page.
This is I think these are the most profound discoveries in human potential development in the history of man, and they only have been available in the last 100 years. And even today, 90% of people have never heard of them.
Yes, and I've been blessed with a kind of gift for being able to make the understanding of how to do this kind of thing very simple and easy for people to do. And now we've embodied it in books and in these apps and everything. Yeah, we should.
Like, for example, this, The Naked Truth About Selling.
There you go.
You're helping people to overcome their fear of rejection And if you have no fear of rejection, then your sales go up 5 or 10 times. It's quite
It's
extraordinary. You're selling to people on bus stops and everybody that you meet.
Everybody's selling all the time,
Yeah.
right? Asking somebody out on a date, doing a job interview, it's all selling.
Yeah. So now, what is your vision or mission? You're a very talented and experienced person. You could do many different things with your life. Why have you chosen to do this?
Well, I don't know why I was chosen, but I've definitely been chosen to help remove the pain of the world. And this, there's this saying, every cloud has a silver lining.
Right.
Well, this cloud of getting shot and the trauma that resulted from it, the silver lining ended up being this major discovery of a whole new way of helping people resolve emotional pain and trauma.
Wow.
So that's my mission, and I'm traveling all around the world teaching this. I just launched 12 inner greatness centers in China, different cities in China.
Wow.
In fact, I flew over here for the interview from Shanghai.
Wow. I'm going to Shanghai next month.
Oh, great.
Yes, because
Come visit.
All right, so let me ask you, you're doing some unique things that are different things. There are thousands, even millions of people who are working in the area of helping people unlock their potential, eliminate unhappiness, negative emotions. All the psychiatrists, psychotherapists, all the counselors and guides in the world are all trying to help people to be happier than they are. So what is it about what you do that makes it unique and different?
The principal thing that I discovered in the process of curing myself of the PTSD is that most people focus on the content of the emotion. Emotion has both content and energy.
Right.
But it's the energy that gives life to the emotion.
Yes.
And it's the energy that needs to be resolved. And what I discovered is a new, very efficient and effective way to do that I haven't seen anywhere else. So the combination of that and how we've developed it now into these apps and books and so on is to make it broadly available. In fact, most of these apps are free.
Right.
We're just making them completely free. We want to help people be able to heal themselves and be able to live a happy and successful life, just like you.
That's great. Now, what people are most interested in is pre and post. Someone who has really benefited from your process. When they met you, let us say their life sucked, as they were negative, down on themselves, down on life. They translated things in a negative way, we call your interpretive style. And so they met you, and before they were here and afterwards they were here. So tell us a specific story about one of your friends, clients, coachees, things like that you changed.
I'd be happy to. There have been thousands of people that have helped them resolve their anxiety, depression, all kinds of different emotions. But a very, very great case, exactly what you're talking about, is a Vietnam veteran. He'd gone over to Khe Sanh in '67, at 19. He was in the thick of it. He had really bad PTSD. He'd had nightmares for 43 years when I met him. He'd sleep 2 or 3 hours a night, wake up all hypervigilant.
Yes.
He'd had 17 years of traditional therapy at the VA, still had his nightmares. In one session of about an hour and a half, he's been nightmare-free ever since that night.
Wow.
Rape victim in the UK, 8 years, nightmares every night, horrific, thought her life was over. One session, nightmare-free ever since.
Can you give, maybe it's not possible, but could you give an example of it's always a revelation. A person, as pre and post means that pre they have one particular mental set, one way of seeing the world, and they translate everything through this set. And then afterwards, as a result, they changed their way that they looked at the world and interpreted the world, and they were different ever after. So can you give an example of one interpretation, pre and post?
Yes, there was a woman in China I worked with who had just had triplets.
Yes.
And they were all girls. Now in China, you've got to have male children, right?
Yes.
So the whole family was entirely upset with her. She was depressed. She was, her husband was, everyone in the family was all disturbed. So I met with her and we worked through that. And she realized that she didn't need to go by other people's opinions. Right. She loved her daughters. Yes. She didn't need to be the victim of the cultural conditioning. Right. So we were able to resolve the energy of the emotions that were locking her into that place. Yes. And afterwards, she was totally happy, completely problem solved.
Wonderful.
So there have been endless cases like that. And it's so wonderful to have such a powerful breakthrough of being able to really get at the true source, the real causal source of the underlying problems of people's lives and resolve them.
Wonderful. So how can people get hold of you if they want to work with you and learn more about what you do and benefit
Best way
from
is
what you
through the
teach?
website. We have a contact form.
Yes.
Contact us form on the website. That's the best way.
Right? Is there, they just fill out their
Just name and
information?
email. And,
Right, and you get back to them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back to them for sure.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
Well, thank you very much. Now, I have one final question, is what one recommendation would you give to people who want to be more successful and happy in the months and years ahead?
Well, there's a new book coming out this summer called Mastering the Art of Success by Jack Canfield. I know you know
Yes.
Jack. He's also a friend of mine.
Yes.
And I'm a co-author in that book.
Wonderful.
And I studied the lives of successful people, and what I found was that they consistently say that being able to follow their intuition has been the key to their success. You have to make right decisions in order to deal with any economy. So, but these successful people do that, but they don't know how to teach other people how to do that.
Right.
Well, I've been extremely fortunate to discover with my techniques how to do exactly that. So I write about that in my chapter in the book.
Right.
And I also have a version of the app on the website so people can actually start to learn how to remove their inner barriers to
Right.
trusting and acting on their intuition much more consistently. So I think that's probably the best answer because it's always on an individual basis. You can't rely on something in the economy or some, strategic thing. You have to be able to follow that inner guidance and let that really
Yes.
guide you to the right decision.
Thank you so much for being here. This is wonderful material. This is the most important material of all in my literally 50 years of studying this subject because with this, everything is possible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.